She has just a little bit more refractive error on the right eye than the left eye. I don't think it's causing her any visual detriment or anything at this point. We talked about what this likely is, this thing called Duane syndrome. That's just somebody's name who described this for the first time. It's fairly common. For some reason it happens more commonly in girls, and we don't know why, but it's normally in the left eye. Who knows? But she fits that picture. If it was the right eye or if it was a boy, I would be a little bit more concerned. Sometimes you can see when the eye tries to come in, it downshoots or upshoots, or vice versa. She doesn't really have that, so that doesn't go along with it, but not all kids with Duane's do have it. There's different types of Duane syndrome if you were to look this up. This is in the old classification scheme, Duane syndrome type 3. Doesn't mean it's worse or better than type 1 or 2, it's just a descriptive term for us people who talk about Duane's. What else could this be? This could be something that's causing her right eye to drift out for some reason. But it all, I think, fits with the picture that it is Duane's. If we really wanted to be sure, there's newer techniques where we can get an MRI scan of the head and really look at that area of the brainstem and see if we can find that area of maldeveloped nucleus to just really put the final stamp of, yes, this is what it is. What does it do for her and her vision? According to her visual testing today, it's not doing much. Both eyes see equally well. One eye hasn't fallen behind the other. I was curious a couple times that perhaps the right eye has fallen behind the left eye. She seems to prefer the left eye because she knows where
it's weird. She colors with her left hand, and she's the only lefty in our family. You know what I mean?
Whether that's related to the eye, I don't know. She does not mind hair over the right eye. I don't know if it's always that way or if it's just she doesn't mind hair at all. The concern would be, one, we want to make sure that the vision is developing equally in both eyes, and so far it is. She adopts a little bit of a face turn. She will turn her head a little bit to the right, so she keeps both eyes together looking at you at the same time. That's a good thing. That means that one eye hasn't fallen behind the other, and she likes using both eyes together.
She's adapting.
There are always eye muscle surgeries. We normally don't operate on, in these cases, on the good eye or the still eye, because when you do operations, you normally don't give them back any more nerve function or any more muscle function. You just limit it. What you would do for her, if she were to need one, would be to limit that movement of the right eye, which is actually the sort of the more normal eye, but it just looks abnormal. I don't know if we necessarily have to do that. We have to do that when, one, the vision is falling behind, and two, if she has got a really bad head position. She turns her head way off to the side, and she's doing it all the time, and walking around funny with her, trying to look this way all the time with her head like that. Hers isn't too bad, so I don't know if I would necessarily recommend that at this point, but it's something to do. If the vision does fall behind, we may want to start patching one eye and forcing her to use the eye that's fallen behind. And then again, if we need to start her in a pair of glasses, we can do that. So there's different steps of sort of treatment of this. Most of the time, we just monitor these kids and make sure that they're not falling behind in any way, and that's okay. I'm happy to schedule an MRI scan if you would like. MRI scans are easy on me and you because we just lay there and that's it. With her, they're very difficult, so we need a little bit of sedation. Happy to do that. I don't know what your insurance is like here. Normally it's covered well, but I don't know what it is. We can maybe look that up or something. So that's what it is. I don't know if anyone has questions or somebody's going to watch this.
I mean, I'm having my wife watch it, so she keeps asking.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, I was told before that your eye muscles aren't fully developed until you're 12 or around that age, adolescence. Right?
It's more of that the visual cortex is fully developed at the age of 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there. So we want to make sure that she's got equal vision prior to that point.
Okay.
And so far she does, but we're gonna watch her closely and make sure that nothing's falling behind. Eye muscles, I normally tell people kids can do funny things the first 4 months of life, but after that, if they have something that persists, it's normally not going to improve or go away.
Yeah.
This can sort of improve or go away, but more than likely it will not. It's something that's going to be there.
And so our correction, if this was, you had to do it, or if we wanted to, would be to not let the other eye drift.
That's one correction. The other correction is operating on both eye muscles to straighten the head position so she doesn't have that little bit of a head tilt. Like I said, I don't mind a little head tilt. It's a little unique and builds character, but a big head tilt I mind if it's affecting the way she navigates the world.
Yeah, I'm worried that when she gets excited and starts running around that she does her peripheral vision's off, you know what I mean? Because this eye might be looking that way and she trips a lot. I mean, more, I don't know if she's just
her
coordination or if she...
that's a good point. Her peripheral vision may be better, maybe super normal, because she has a tendency for that eye to come out. So she's got normal peripheral of the left eye, and then the right eye is pointed out here, so you can imagine it's bigger than normal over on this side. But that's hard to tell exactly.
Okay.
Kids will trip and they'll run around. Is that because their eyes, or is that because
they're uncoordinated?
And or is it because she's only using one eye when that eye's drifted out, and therefore her stereo or 3D vision isn't quite as good.
Yeah.
And then she's missing, depth perception, and that's why. So that can come into play too. So it's hard to tell.
So what's the next step?
I think the next step is either MRI if you were.
If this was your daughter, would MRI be the?
It's not going to do anything. It's just going to perhaps tell us that yes, for sure, this is what it is. An MRI would rule out very bad things like brain tumors and things like that. Can we safely rule that out? Up to a very high percentage we can, but you can never be 100% sure. Getting an MRI, you get pretty darn close to 100% sure. But other than that, it's just monitoring her and making sure that the visual development is good for now. So regardless of what we do with the MRI, I want to see her back in another 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
We don't have to get the MRI now. If we are going to get it at some point, it's probably better to do it sooner rather than later, but keeping in mind we would need a sedation more than likely to get it done.
No.
And that's something that you guys have to decide now. You can think about that.
Okay.
So.
Lauren?